How big can a plane get? Well, if you wanted to build one big plane, this would be it. This is the Hughes H-4, also known as the Spruce Goose, and at 194 feet long with a wingspan of 320 feet, it was the largest plane ever built. It took 8 years just to build this thing, and it was made out of wood. Now, why they chose wood is beyond me, but it was likely due to a shortage of aluminum during World War II. The plane did have a few test flights and it did well. But when the war was over, there was no need for such a large plane anymore. So this bad boy was put into storage until 1980 when it was finally scrapped. The next largest plane that exists today is the Antonov An-225. It is 275 feet long and 181 feet wide. That's absolutely massive. There's not even a single person in this picture to give you a sense of scale. But don't worry, I got you covered. Here's a guy standing next to it. This plane was designed to carry large rocket boosters and other space program equipment. However, after the Soviet Union fell in 1991, funding for this program was cut and the project was abandoned. Because of this, only one of these planes was ever built. And as of 2022, it's still sitting in a hangar in Ukraine. Now we're going to go way back to 1926 with the next entry, the Hindenburg. At 804 feet long and a wingspan of 128 feet, this thing was truly a sight to behold. Unfortunately, it is most remembered for its last flight in 1937 when it caught fire and 35 people lost their lives. Most of the passengers were fine as they were able to exit the plane. But some did try to put their life savings back in the plane by jumping out of windows as it was crashing down. And to make things worse, there were newsreels being taken of the event and they were being sold for profit. But maybe even more tragic than that was the fact that it went up in flames on live TV. This event had a huge impact on the future of airships as no one really wanted to get near them after this disaster. Now we're going to look at something that's very different. This is the largest hot air balloon ever built. It's 196 feet tall and 122 feet wide. That's absolutely massive. And the envelope alone weighs 11,000 pounds. To fill this thing up with air, it takes about 10 minutes to heat up the air inside to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. And then once it's full, it can take off like any other hot air balloon. And yes, it does fly like other balloons because there's no engines or propellers anywhere. And now let's look at another aircraft carrier. No, this isn't the largest aircraft carrier ever built. That title goes to the USS Enterprise, which is 1,123 feet long. But I'm including this one because of how insanely long it is. At 853 feet long, this thing is absolutely massive. And to give you an idea of how big it is, here's a person standing next to it. It's so big that it actually extends outside of the frame. If you wanted to run across this ship, it would take you about 2 minutes to do so. Now let's take a look at a sea monster. Okay, unlike the previous entries, this one isn't actually real. But what if it was? What if giant squid were real? Well, if they were, this would be the largest one ever. At 46 feet long and weighing 1,000 tons, this thing would absolutely destroy any ship that tried to go near it. Now, fortunately, giant squid aren't real, but there are plenty of normal-sized ones out there. And scientists believe that the reason we haven't seen one yet is because they only hang out in very deep waters. Now, let's take a look at another real monster. This is the largest living animal on planet Earth, the blue whale. At 85 feet long and 200 tons, this thing is truly a sight to behold. They are able to eat over 4,000 pounds of krill each day and can dive over 2,000 feet deep in search of food. Although despite being this big, they can move very fast. They're able to swim at speeds of up to 30 miles per hour. Finally, we'll take a look at the largest star ever discovered. It's called R136A1 and it's located in the Large Magellanic Cloud. It's 31,000 light years away from us and is over 30 billion kilometers in diameter. That's absolutely massive, and to give you an idea of how big it is, 13 quadrillion Earths could fit inside of it. This star is almost 300 times larger than our Sun and weighs around 315 million times more than our Sun. But despite being this big, it's only around 7 million years old. Our Sun is around for 0.5 billion years old. This means that the star is in its prime while our Sun is already halfway through its life cycle. Well, that's all for this video, but let me know in the comments below which one was your favorite.